Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 origin continent based on novel. So let's start. Elder Blind sat down, while his two disciples stood behind him. Moyu Qingyang personally served up fruit and fine wine. Please, Luo Feng said, holding up his wine glass. Elder Blind also poured himself a drink. For powerful cultivators, eyes could be trained to be very strong, but even blindness wouldn't affect their observation of their surroundings. Indeed, many cultivators do not even have eyes in their godly bodies or gaseous or liquid forms. Please, Elder Blind also raised his glass, and after drinking a cup, he smiled and said, before coming to Huyang City, I had already heard of the great name of Lord Luo He. General Yong Hu of Yu Kingdom's capital relied on the Huyang City's formation, and still couldn't hold divine monarch Shuiyun. But Lord Luo He, you managed to slay Yu Tianshu, Yu Tianyi, and the escaping divine monarch Shuiyun outside the city, all in one single night. Your strength is indeed above that of General Yong Hu. General Yong Hu was only concerned about the civilians within the city and afraid of causing too many casualties, which is why he let Shuiyun escape, Luo Feng said. The battle between Yong Hu and Shuiyun at the Flame Wind Pavilion is available for sale to the public, Elder Blind said. Anyone can see that Shuiyun's strength is profoundly unfathomable, which makes us at Heart Shadow Sect admire Lord Luo He even more. The sect leader had already ordered that upon coming to Huyang City, we must not offend the Lord. The sect leader is too kind, Luo Feng said with a smile. Moyu Qingyang, who was standing by serving, pricked up his ears to listen carefully. Not offend the master. The Heart Shadow Sect surely fears the master. This time Heart Shadow Sect came to Huyang City to seek a place to survive, Elder Blind sighed. For a sect to survive, it's very difficult. Luo Feng was listening. For survival, our disciples of the Heart Shadow Sect are willing to spare no expense, Elder Blind said. I hope the Lord can understand the Heart Shadow Sect and not interfere with the matters here. Ha ha, Luo Feng laughed. I'm not an official of Yu Kingdom, nor am I from your Shi Kingdom. I'm just an independent cultivator. As to whom I help. Alas, we independent cultivators are all desperately fighting for resources. If there are enough resources to hire me, how could I refuse? Luo Feng understood what the other party meant. They hoped for Luo Feng's commitment not to interfere in the conflict in Huyang City. Enough resources to hire? Elder Blind asked. How much would it take to hire Lord Luo He? I treat all equally. Yu Kingdom has already given me quite a bit, and I haven't even agreed to help them, Luo Feng said. If Heart Shadow Sect wants to hire me, 2 billion cosmic sand will suffice. 2 billion cosmic sand? Elder Blind's face twitched. That's a bold price. Watching from the side, Luo Feng remembered that the monarch of Yu country had gifted him a leaf from the Void Proliferation Mother Tree, and Marquis of Zhujiang had also presented him with 10 million cosmic sand as a token of gratitude. That was all about relationships. Giving a quote of 1 billion cosmic sand to Yu Kingdom was a friendly price. Offering 2 billion cosmic sand to Heart Shadow Sect was also justified. If Heart Shadow Sect agreed to such a high price, and the news spread, Yu Kingdom would have nothing to say. After all, Luo Feng was giving them a half-price deal. I'm just an independent cultivator. Whoever gives the resources, I help them. I believe Elder Heart Eye can understand. Luo Feng looked at the other party. The conversation between Luo Feng and Elder Blind made the two disciples behind Elder Blind and Moyu Qingyang tremble with the thought of 2 billion cosmic sand. What a colossal fortune that was. Understood, even for disciples of our sect, obtaining resources is not easy, Elder Blind said. I have traveled the world challenging many mighty ones. With such strength as yours, I wonder if we could have a sparring match. A sparring match? Luo Feng nodded, sure. Elder Blind sensed the confidence in the other party, and immediately nodded. I'll arrange a more spacious place. Let's just do it in my cave dwelling, Luo Feng said. It's just a sparring match, this place is big enough. I'm afraid that might damage your cave dwelling, Elder Blind added. No need to compensate if it gets damaged, Luo Feng said with a smile as he got up. The Lord is truly magnanimous. Elder Blind also stood up, and his two disciples and Moyu Qingyang at the side all became somewhat nervous. In an open area of Luo Feng's cave dwelling, Luo Feng and Elder Blind stood opposite each other at a distance. Morosa, Moyu Qingyang, and the two disciples of Heart Shadow sect watched from the corners of the cave dwelling. Please, Luo Feng said with a smile, looking at the opponent. Elder Blind flipped his hand, and a black spike appeared. At first glance, the black spike looked quite ordinary, with a subdued luster, and no secret patterns could be seen. Since it was just a sparring match, neither side was burning their divine power, and their auras were very restrained. This Lord Luo, he still wants to waver between the two forces, asking for 2 billion cosmic sand right off the bat. If he realizes the gap in our strength, he will be much more compliant, Elder Blind thought to himself. Be careful, Lord, Elder Blind said, as he thrust the black spike forward. With that thrust, he activated the realm of life and death that was already spread around them. Luo Feng's realm of life and death enveloped the entire cave dwelling, and as Elder Blind thrust his spike, the realm heavily obstructed his attack. The realm of life and death, a combination of 3 primal chaos realm techniques, appeared like a vast Tai Chi cloud formation upon manifestation, its rotation far more powerful than that of pure control primal chaos. Rip! Elder Blind's thrust forcibly penetrated the realm of life and death, tearing through it and sending shockwaves rolling, with the spike already reaching Luo Feng's robe. Luo Feng still stood unmoved, his robe surface displaying a layer of murky protecting robe, a synergy of the realm of life and death condensed with 2 techniques from the law of primal chaos. These 5 techniques combined to form the chaotic protective robe. Though not as intricate as Divine Monarch Shui Yun's creation of the blood cloud great array from 9 techniques. But the realm of life and death, the chaotic protective robe, were just some of the techniques Luo Feng had managed to comprehend in the span of the 5 eras. Puff! The thrust, surprisingly, penetrated the murky protective robe on Luo Feng's skin. His skin, refined 3 times to achieve the perfect divine body, was finally pierced, showing a speck of blood. Elder Blind retreated instantly, somewhat in disbelief. Amazing, amazing. With just a casual stab, Elder Heart Eye managed to break through my domain and protective robe, even wounding me, Luo Feng exclaimed. Elder Blind felt the pressure. I have cultivated the Godly King level inheritance 6 extremes of destruction, which utilizes 7 primal chaos realm techniques. According to the inheritance, only after a complete integration can this stab be formed. Elder Blind was shocked internally. I have encountered those with unlimited godly bodies before, and this stab would have seriously wounded them. But facing Lord Luo it barely broke the skin. What seemed like a normal stab was indeed one of Elder Blind's lethal moves, famous in many regions. Divine Monarch, please try this move of mine, Elder Blind said, and right after speaking, his figure blurred in an instant. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. In a blink, he split into 13 figures, each making a strike, each seeming terrifyingly powerful, but when the 13 strikes merged, that's when the power truly shook the heavens and the earth. Boom tilde tilde tilde, this congealed black strike surprised even Luo Feng, indeed a disciple of a godly king sect. The technique is truly profound, forming a formation from numerous techniques, to converge into a single, powerful strike. Relying on just a protective robe to withstand it isn't enough, I need to show some real skills now. Faced with this earth-shattering strike, Luo Feng extended his left hand. Boom! His arm expanded rapidly, and his palm grew even larger, as though covering the sky, with each of Luo Feng's 5 fingers containing dual-colored vortices, the entire palm like a chaotic universe. Boom tilde tilde tilde. The frightening strike collided with Luo Feng's palm, their forces annihilating and mercilessly grinding against each other. One side is Godly King level techniques recorded in the inheritance. The disciples merely need to cultivate step by step to continuously build their foundations and draw closer to the primal chaos realm. The other side, however, directly encountered the great Tao of life origin and the mysteries of destruction's origin, fusing both and integrating the understanding of primal chaos, this was also one of Luo Feng's 6 major killing techniques, the 10 Directions Annihilation Palm. If the world-breaking 9 Blades of the Past was purely for defense, then this 10 Directions Annihilation Palm was for offense, and it involved combining 10 primal Chaos Realm techniques into one strike executed with a hand that had undergone 3 body refinements to attain a perfect divine body. One of Luo Feng's true killing techniques. Luo Feng still had to hold back his strength, too much, and it would exceed the eternal true God domain. Luo Feng had long set standards for himself, not needing to hide his realm's accumulation, since the outside world already considered him very close to the primal Chaos Realm. Still, the power of the perfect godly body needed to be restrained. Even reined into the strength of an unlimited godly body, he was still suppressing Elder Blind. The 10 Directions Annihilation Palm, despite merging 10 techniques still being somewhat rough, was no less formidable than Elder Blind's killing formation. Boom tilde tilde tilde. That dreadful strike, under the crush of Luo Feng's massive palm, ultimately shattered and was completely obliterated. This scene shocked Elder Blind. This Luo, he is an unlimited godly body of the law lineage. And his realm's accumulation even surpasses mine, Elder Blind confirmed this instantly. If he were part of the bloodline cultivation system, such accumulation might have already led him to the primal chaos realm. Elder Heart Eye's formation technique is quite powerful, Luo Feng praised. I was even forced to use my ultimate technique. Elder Heart Eye, do you have any more moves? No need to continue comparing. I'm indeed inferior to Lord Luo He, Elder Blind spoke. This sparring truly broadened my horizons. Lord Luo He, I shall take my leave first. And I will relay the hiring price you mentioned to the sect leader. All right, Luo Feng nodded with a smile. Elder Blind turned and swiftly left with 2 disciples. This battle had kept the cave dwelling encapsulated by the realm of life and death, and since Elder Blind had not burned his divine power, and had intentionally restricted the range, the cave mansion was still in relatively good condition. Only the empty space where the fight took place had pits and uneven ground. Sigh. With a thought, the ground quickly repaired itself. Master, this Elder Heart Eye is quite strong, Morosa spoke, should be somewhat stronger than Shui Yun. Shui Yun's formations are rather rough, whereas Elder Heart Eye's moves are more naturally powerful and superior, Luo Feng nodded, unmistakably a godly king tier sect. Although he himself had inheritances from 2 godly king lineages. Unfortunately, his master, Mountain Sitting Guest, was an artifact refining godly king, and did not leave him any suitable godly king inheritances. The 3rd generation forefather of the Duan Dong River lineage did leave behind 3 supportive godly king level inheritances, Duan Mie, Dong Hua, and Undying River. No way around it, both his master and the 3rd generation forefather had just stepped into the godly king tier. This is why they met such fates, one fleeing into the universe ocean, the other dying completely. Power is the foundation. Elder Heart Eye, how did it go with your visit to Lord Luo He? Asked the master of the Heart Shadow sect, who had just returned from visiting the Flame Wind Pavilion. I heard that you sparred with him. I asked him not to interfere, and he asked for a hiring price of 2 billion cosmic sand. Elder Blind frowned as he spoke. So we had to go with the backup plan, sparring to put some pressure on him. But in this exchange, his godly body is stronger than mine, and even his realm is stronger. Master Feng Yuchi of the Heart Shadow sect couldn't help saying, both of our forefathers said that with your deep accumulation, Elder Heart Eye, just a little chance could lead to a breakthrough. His realm is actually higher than yours. While it's somewhat higher, ultimately, it's within the same tier, said Elder Blind. Once I command the disciples and wield the mechanical flow secret treasure Heart Devil Kite, I can match that Luo He. Sir, the novel, F.I.et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Originally, the Divine Monarch who established the Heart Shadow sect crafted 13 mechanical flow secret treasures, according to their inheritances, to serve as hereditary treasures of the sect. But over the long years, only 7 of these mechanical heritage secret treasures remain, with the Heart Devil Kite being one of them. A divine monarch establishing a sect left many means behind. But with continual decline, the Heart Shadow sect's methods are becoming fewer. This was just a spar. I didn't use my secret technique of willpower shadowless stab, which is my strongest move. Elder Blind said, once it's used, it's no longer a spar, but a fight for life and death. Thank you to the new Alliance hierarch, Lord Luo City _ for the reward. That name does have some domineering presence .. The master of the Heart Shadow sect and Elder Blind met, and soon the meeting of elders was convened. I brought gifts to visit the master of the Flame Wind Pavilion, and everything went smoothly, Feng Yuqi, the Heart Shadow sect leader, said with a radiant smile. The Flame Wind Pavilion has always acted consistently. As long as they are not offended, they won't intervene in war. This was within their expectations. Not intervening in the conflicts of various nations was a rule set by the headquarters of the Flame Wind Pavilion, and branch leaders would not dare to breach it lightly. If the Flame Wind Pavilion were to intervene, there must be a sufficient reason, and it must be confirmed by the headquarters. How did it go when Elder Heart-Eye visited Lord Luo He? An elder asked, which was their most pressing concern. Did he agree not to intervene? He did not agree, Elder Blind said. He did not agree. The other elders were somewhat annoyed. We have already shown him enough respect, and he's still ready to take action against us at any moment. This Luo He is a variable. I think we should join forces to deal with Luo He before the army of the Marquis of Zhujiang arrives, another elder suggested. It's easy for our entire sect to defeat him, but an eternal true god of his realm is unfathomable, and has extremely strong survival skills. He might slip away quietly. Once he escapes, he really becomes a deadly enemy. Instead, we would be pushing him to the side of the Marquis of Zhujiang. The elders discussed animatedly. Elder Blind nodded and added, the power of our Heart Shadow sect is enough to defeat any eternal true god, but we're not sure we can kill him. Then what do we do? Just watch. If a war really breaks out in the future, his involvement will be a big problem. The elders were also worried. A stab in the back from him at a critical moment would be a major issue. This Lord Luo He said is a freelance cultivator, and he will help whoever hires him, Elder Blind stated. But is very greedy. He has quoted a mercenary price of a full 200 million cosmic sand. 200 million cosmic sand. He's crazy. Who does he think he is? The elders could not accept such a price. Elder Blind continued, since he's asking for such a high price from us, he must have also quoted the Marquis of Zhujiang a high price. That's probably why the Marquis has not agreed to it yet. If he had, he would have likely entered the city owner's mansion already. The sect leader of Heart Shadow smiled, rest assured, everyone, such a greedy person will not make a move easily without a sufficient price. Even if he does make a move in the future, Elder Heart-Eye leading our disciples to control the Heart Devil Kite is enough to deal with him. Controlling the Heart Devil Kite is enough to handle him, Elder Blind agreed. He admitted that Luo his realm was slightly higher than his, but he practiced the Godly King level Dharma, 6 extremes of destruction, and coupled with the mechanical flow secret treasure the Heart Devil Kite, he could easily handle Lord Luo He after a full-powered boost. That's good to hear. As long as Elder Heart-Eye controls the Heart Devil Kite, and entangles Luo He, there will no longer be any powerful individuals under the Marquis of Zhujiang for us to be wary of, the elders were quite confident. After all, in the Yu Kingdom, there were only a handful of eternal true gods on par with Lord Luo He. Knowing that Lord Luo He hasn't sided with the Marquis of Zhujiang for now is good news, said the sect leader of Heart Shadow. Now let's move on to the next step of the plan. In Huyang City, above the Primal Chaos Armor Sector, several huge flying boats and numerous super-large mechanical stream secret treasures suddenly headed towards the cave mansions of the 5 great families. What's happening? The Heart Shadow sect has arrived. The members of the 5 great families had already been uneasy, but the core members of the families had already moved to the city owner's mansion as the first action, only leaving behind a large number of ordinary family members of lower status. These ordinary family members accounted for over 99% of the family population, making it troublesome to relocate. Even when the family leaders gave orders, the execution would be sluggish. The cave mansion of the Tsuming clan now belongs to our Heart Shadow sect, boomed a powerful voice from 10 super-large mechanical secrets treasures hovering in the air, sweeping over the entire cave mansion. All creatures inside the cave mansion must leave. After 100 breaths, any creature still inside will not be spared. We are part of the royal family. How dare you seize the cave mansion of our Tsuming clan? Some of the family members were used to arrogance and dared to berate even the Heart Shadow sect. But the vast majority of family members quickly packed up some belongings and frantically rushed out of the cave mansion. In a conflict between two nations, who would care about the insignificant members of the royal family's fringe branches? The Moli clan, move out quickly. The cave mansion of the Jiang family now belongs to our Heart Shadow sect. The Wu family. The Mei Wu clan. The Heart Shadow sect did not care about the backgrounds of the others, they seized the cave mansions directly. The fact that they didn't proceed to slaughter was already showing restraint. Under the threat of death, the 5 great families almost completely evacuated their cave mansions within 100 breaths, save for a very few foolish and stubborn individuals who still remained inside. I am a member of the royal family. How dare you, Heart Shadow sect, kill me? Those few foolish and arrogant individuals silently turned to dust under an invisible force, and none was spared. The descendants of the royal family had proliferated for countless years, and had become too numerous to count. Many branches were settled in remote cities, and their status was not as elevated as they believed. In the land of origin, only the core and elite members of some big clans held a higher status. The members of the 5 great families have all come to the city owner's mansion, the Lord of Huyang City said, looking at the other 4 clan leaders. The city owner's mansion needs to reserve a large space for war, and cannot accommodate so many family members. For the time being, let them stay temporarily in the cave mansions and secret treasures, Moli Xiao suggested. We have no other choice, agreed the leaders of the other 3 great families. A comfortable residence for the core members of the family is enough, while common clansmen may first take shelter in the cave mansion's secret treasures. Thus, the common clansmen of the 5 great families, having just entered the city owner's mansion, were ordered to enter the cave mansion's secret treasures according to their ranks to temporarily reside there. They had no choice but to obey the orders from the family's higher-ups. Now, in the entire Primal Chaos Armor sector, only Lord Luo his cave mansion remains unoccupied, said the Lord of Huyang City, and not long ago, we detected powerful energy fluctuations coming from Lord Luo his cave mansion. Did the Heart Shadow sect recruit Luo he? The leaders of several families worriedly inquired. Hiring Luo he is very expensive. The Lord of Huyang City immediately reached out to contact Luo Feng. Luo Feng sat atop a mountain within the cave mansion, leisurely drinking wine, observing the ever-changing situation in the Primal Chaos Armor sector. The once high and mighty 5 great families had now been forcibly evicted from their cave mansions, and the few clansmen who dared to stay had been reduced to dust. When your background matters, your background is of use. When it doesn't, what can you do? Luo Feng pondered. The so-called background, the so-called dignity, ultimately needed to be supported by strength. Like the Flame Wind Pavilion, even a minor branch would cause 2 warring nations to make way. Brother Luo he, the Lord of Huyang City suddenly reached out. City Lord, what brings you to contact me all of a sudden? Luo Feng replied. Recently, powerful energy fluctuations were detected from Brother Luo his cave mansion. Did the Heart Shadow sect visit you? Asked the Lord of Huyang City. Lord Luo his strength. The difference between being recruited by the Heart Shadow sect or the city owner's mansion was significant. It could mean the equivalent of having 2 Lord Luo his. It was Elder Heartai from the Heart Shadow sect who came to visit, and we briefly sparred, Luo Feng communicated. Oh, and how did the spar go? The Lord of Huyang City was very interested, as he was well aware of Elder Heartai's strength. He is indeed quite strong, Luo Feng communicated, stronger than Shui Yun. The Lord of Huyang City's interest peaked, sensing Luo Feng's implication, and responded, Brother Luo he can kill Shui Yun. So if it's one-on-one, could you also kill this Elder Heartai? I hear he can control one of the Heart Shadow sect's 13 mechanical treasures, the Heart Devil Kite. If he operates it, I can only suppress him at most, and will not be able to kill him, replied Luo Feng. The Lord of Huyang City was inwardly shocked. Elder Heartai controlling the Heart Devil Kite, yet Luo he claimed he could suppress it. Didn't it mean that he could restrain even more of the Heart Shadow sect's forces? The Heart Shadow sect visited me because they too wished to hire me, Luo Feng communicated. You know, a free cultivator like me cares most about resources. But I also have a deep bond with you kingdom, so I quoted a hiring price of 2 billion cosmic sand. Brother Luo, he is truly forthcoming. The price you've given us is far lower than what the Heart Shadow sect offered, lauded the Lord of Huyang City. Even if he thought the price of 1 billion cosmic sand was high, he still flattered Luo Feng. At this time, whichever side Lord Luo he supports would greatly influence the battle situation. I will report this to the Marquis, and I believe there will be a result from his end very soon, the Lord of Huyang City also soothed Luo Feng. After the communication ended, Luo Feng held his wine jug. See a thnoelfire.nt website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. It seems my quote was a bit high, both sides haven't agreed, Luo Feng thought, this spar should have proven my worth. Whether Marquis of Zhujiang or Marquis Liuyin rules the Primal Chaos Prefecture, they must ensure the safety of the city's citizens. Thus, the citizens would continually pay the residence fee. Who wins, who loses? Luo Feng couldn't care less. Unless the offer was abundant. If I could get 1 billion cosmic sand, that should help me reach the primal chaos realm faster, Luo Feng thought. The children of big families would naturally have resources poured into them if they were sufficiently talented. He had no choice, he had to earn every resource himself. Inside a hall in Zhujiang City, Marquis of Zhujiang sat alone on his throne, his silver hair cascading over his shoulders, each strand causing disturbances in the void. Marquis Liuyin actually sent assassins from the Heart Shadow sect. Even if he manages to take away my Zhujiang Primal Chaos Prefecture, he'll have to share a portion with the Heart Shadow sect. The Marquis of Zhujiang's gaze grew even colder. It seems he's determined to take Zhujiang Primal Chaos Prefecture this time. This is my fiefdom. My cultivation resources. The space around Marquis of Zhujiang twisted as he continued, you, Marquis Liuyin, are hell-bent on seizing my fiefdom. Judging from all sides, your strength is indeed greater than mine. But the real fight is not determined by superficial information. The Marquis of Zhujiang had been very patient. The two neighboring primal chaos prefectures were constantly provoked by Marquis Liuyin's side, and he had been enduring. But now the enemies had sent the Heart Shadow sect to invade the large city, Huyang City, and if he continued to endure, aside from Zhujiang City, he feared that the rest would be occupied. I have summoned all the elite forces of Zhujiang Primal Chaos Prefecture to Huyang City, but my elites alone are no match for the Heart Shadow sect. Marquis of Zhujiang was well aware of this. At the level of Eternal True God, his forces indeed could not compare with the Heart Shadow sect. In terms of numbers, they were close, but in quality, they were significantly weaker. After all, the majority of Eternal True Gods in Zhujiang Primal Chaos Prefecture cultivated much inferior Dharma compared to those of the Heart Shadow sect. Plus, various sect-defending treasures left by the godly king of the Heart Shadow sect also significantly enhanced the disciples' strength. That Luo he wants 1 billion cosmic sand. He sure dares to ask. Marquis of Zhujiang was also troubled. Let's first try to get a few Eternal True Gods from the royal capital. As for Luo, let's wait and see how the situation unfolds. He had already prepared 1 billion cosmic sand, actively inviting the strongest Eternal True Gods from the royal capital, but it was uncertain how many would come. This video will end here.